Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Miss the Lady. I wanted to start this channel because I don't feel that men are represented well, that we give guys enough credit, that women just take advantage of men far too often, and it's been far too long, and there's far too few women that actually show the support for men. So I wanted to start this channel, one, for that, to be able to show that there are women out there that actually do support men and do realize that we need strong men in this country. And then secondly, I wanted to start this channel to encourage women to go back to being ladies and to kind of talk about what it is to be a lady. But that's a discussion for another time. For this video, I wanted to bring up something that kind of caught my attention on the internet recently and over the past month or so maybe. Tennessee had proposed to put a law in place where paternity tests would be required for any child that was born, and there was a huge upset about it. And I kind of wanted to talk on this because I feel like this is one of those rights where men are definitely on the short end of the stick. And well, firstly, as a woman, I don't think that there's any problem with my man asking me for a paternity test, especially with how women are just in general these days, and with just how the world has gone. And that's another kind of leading force as to women not being ladies. We don't have the respect or the morals that we used to. And therefore we must, pay a price until we get those back, until we are trusted. Men are inherently programmed to love and protect and take care of women, and we have just really abused that. And I ask, other women, why would you mind taking a paternity test? After the baby's born, it doesn't hurt you, it doesn't hurt the baby, there's no risks involved. But it gives your man the assurance to know that that child is his, that child that he's about to let into his heart, as someone else that he needs to protect and take care of and look after. It's a huge emotional investment. As women, we'll never have to worry about whether or not that baby's ours, like literally comes out of us. There's no doubt in our minds that's our baby. For men, it's a bit different, especially with the way that most women are now. A girl can go to a bar, get drunk, and as long as she looks, at least semi-decent, there'll be a guy in there that's willing to sleep with her 9 times out of 10. Guys aren't as picky as we females are. Very, very few requirements. But that's another topic, maybe for a later time. So a woman can walk into a bar, ask a guy to sleep with her and take him home. On the other hand, men, if a man walks up to a woman and asks her to sleep with him, he's more than likely going to get slapped. It's just different. And so I wanted to share some statistics, and I'll leave links as to where I found these in there. So talking about having a baby and obviously the responsibility of, having a baby, there's also, a huge emotional cost that goes into it, having a baby and adding to the family. There's also a huge monetary cost that goes into it. So the average cost of having a baby is about $18,865. That's just to give birth to the child. Now, if it's a C-section, it goes up from there. That's just, a vaginal birth. straight delivery, the care of the mom and baby after. And of course, a lot of that's covered by insurance and whatnot, but there's still a cost, for having the baby. To raise a child from being born to 18 years of age, which would be an adult, so this is just to 18, would be $331,933 over that child's life from birth to 18. That is a huge monetary investment. And of course, that's almost bare minimum if the child is into sports or into, extracurricular activities. The price just goes up from there. If you're doing summer camps and music lessons and, maybe horseback riding lessons or whatever your child is into, the price just goes up. And of course, these prices also go up with inflation. So a year or two from now, these prices could be higher, they could be lower. More than likely, they're going to be higher because that's just how things go. And then, you're asking a man to go out and work and raise money to take care of this child and to put his monetary and emotional investment into this. And you're not even giving him any sort of guarantee that this is actually his child, that this is, from him, that this is, a progression of his line, his namesake. So I was curious to kind of see, just because of how easy it would be for a woman to walk into a bar, pick up a man, what exactly the paternity test rate was currently. So there was actually a study that I was able to find. It was not easy. But there's a paternity fraud study that was done, and 12% of 1,200 men found out that they were not the father, done in this study. And this was a 2023 study, so it's fairly recent. And honestly, this doesn't surprise me. We have TV shows like, Jerry Springer and Paternity Court and all of these, other ones that get very high ratings, and we watch them and we look and see, oh, you're not the father, and we make a mockery of it when really that's these guys' lives, and us as women, we think, oh, that would never be me. But really it happens. It happens every day. And then there's so many more men that either don't have the courage to ask for a paternity test or just never even think to. Their mind doesn't go there. When a man loves a woman, he doesn't necessarily stop trusting her unless she gives him reason. It's just not, they're not inherently, skeptical like a woman would be. Women are skeptical of everything. Men, not so much. It's just one of our differences. Of course, unless you give him reason to, and then, good luck getting him to not be skeptical. At least that's my opinion. But with how much paternity fraud there is and how many, babies are out there being raised by men that are not their fathers, and these good men are being asked or lied to about raising these children and putting in the financial, effort and taking care of these kids. Why wouldn't we try and put a stop to this? Why wouldn't we, give these men back a little bit, have some decency, and, give these guys some assurance that, hey, this is actually your kid, like, this is your responsibility. I'm not asking you to take on, some other man's child. Now, mind you, this is different if, you've already had the child and the guy is marrying into a pre-made family. That would be his decision. I'm more talking about, the birth of the child, that not being the father because the woman stepped out. And I honestly believe that this is having a huge effect on marriages and just women's attitude towards this in general. We have got to get out of this attitude of, we're above it all, and that, it doesn't matter if it's, yours or not. You still need to pay for it. You need to, give me money and buy me things. And this is not how it's supposed to be. Women are supposed to respect men. As men are supposed to respect women. It's in different ways, and we both deserve the same amount of rights and privileges. I got to thinking just about men and women, their marriages and, being together, and kind of what the statistics were and kind of how everything was playing out. And what I found out was actually pretty disturbing. So the divorce rate has been climbing significantly, up to 22.6%, and that was in 1980s when it hit its peak. And a lot of articles praise that it's been dropping from there, and it's not so bad anymore. But then I looked for the marriage rate, and the marriage rate has actually been dropping from 76.5% in 1970 all the way down to 31%. I couldn't believe it. So not only are we not getting married as much, we're also divorcing more. And what kind of a world are we trying to rear our children in? And I honestly don't blame the guys for this. Men just aren't willing to put themselves out there anymore because women have just degraded them so far. We've just taken so much advantage of them. There's no benefit to them to marry. One, a lot of women will sleep with a man without getting married. So there's one negative point. If a man does decide to marry, more than likely that woman is going to step out on him and cheat on him with another man. And apparently, from the statistic that I found, I think it was 1,000 men and 1,000 women were asked whether or not they have ever cheated on their spouse, during the length of their marriage. 20% of men said yes. 30% of women said yes. And that's just the ones that would actually be honest and admit that they had. I honestly think it's higher, just from things I've heard from coworkers, friends, family. You hear it all the time, and it's just become commonplace. And it's really, really sad that this is the world that we ask men to live in, and that as women we expect men to just be okay with. So I don't blame guys at all for not wanting to be out there and date, not wanting to marry. It's all risk for them. It's no benefit. If they do marry, and then more than likely their girl's going to step out on them and cheat. More than likely they're going to get divorced, and then she takes half, if not more, of everything that he's worked for. There's just no benefit. There's no protection for men. There's no balance. And men really deserve our support. And I hope that with this channel I can show that there are still some women out there that do support them. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed my little video. I'm going to put some more on about different subjects, going over different things between, being a lady and men's rights, and just things that I'm very adamant about If you enjoyed the content, please like, share, and subscribe. Definitely leave me a comment, let me know maybe about something that you're curious about. And until next time, don't miss the lady.